So if you haven't made it out by now, I am transgender. I've been carrying this weight around for so long. It's officially been 1 month since I started HRT.
It has been 2 years since I've been on here. What the hell?
It's a week and 2 days until the surgery itself. I know you're nervous, but I'll be fine. I am fresh out of surgery. When I started this transition 3 years ago, I didn't know if I was ever gonna be able to afford this surgery. Hi guys, so this is 4 weeks post-op today. I've sat down with my best friend Joe and we've just filmed a really candid get ready with me. In this video I explain like the recovery process, the transition from presenting male to presenting female and everything in between. We'll pretty much cover everything in this video. You're gonna see when we start I still have black eyes and bruising. I have a little bit of swelling. I have a little bit of swelling under here where the scar is, where they removed my Adam's apple and stuff like that. You can see my side profile is healed now. Nothing is too dramatic. I feel like I still look like myself, just a really feminized version. Could not be happier with the results, and it's great that I have my friend here who can also help explain what the process has been like, kind of from an objective point of view, not just my own. So yeah, it's been really fun to film this video and I hope you guys enjoy it. You can follow my Instagram at jamieroseedee. That's what I update most. The links for all my social media will be in the description. So yeah, get ready and we're about to start. Yeah, so we're finally getting started. I'm excited, but I am a bit nervous.
Yeah, I'm excited. Do it finally.
Do you have a look in mind?
Yeah, so like, obviously it's all about in this look for me, like femininity. I'm going to use loads of pink, fresh colours, quite like monochromatic. Loads of pink, you're wearing a pink top. And just super glowy and fresh.
I'll pop in a little photo here of when you first did my makeup.
And it's changed, like, the face has changed so much since then, but how I apply it has changed as well, I feel.
Yeah. You're always developing though, as
yeah,
a makeup artist,
definitely.
aren't you?
But your face is, it's always been changing. Like, it's not been the same 1 week.
To the next.
Yeah, to the next.
Yeah.
So it's been a process just getting to know your face for me.
Yeah. And I remember what I really liked about you is like as soon as we met properly after the night out, you were just honest.
Yeah.
You were like, you know, it's funny because once upon a time I was a little 13-year-old and I bought a beanie from Spike.
Yeah, I did.
And you showed me the photo.
I remember because back then obviously I probably just started doing makeup, but I didn't have an actual proper job. Yeah. So I remember like it would have been my mum's money, she would have given me money for the beanie. And then it came in a package and I was so excited and I did an Instagram picture because back then this was like before everyone was an influencer and before everyone had an Instagram, and I remember like you were so big on Instagram at the time.
Yeah, kind of went downhill since then. But we're clawing our way back to the top. We're clawing our way back.
And I just remember it being like like having that beanie was like, oh my god.
I have the spiked beanie.
Yeah, I wish I still had it.
I wish you did as well. One thing I regret is I didn't keep any items of clothing from that because I never. At the time I didn't see it as a thing. Yeah. I moved to Australia, got rid of all of my belongings, but it would have been nice just to have them in like a little archive as a memoir, but...
I bet you could find some more that's got ones.
Yeah, if you have anything spiked, let me know, I'll buy it from you. I'll buy it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you did my makeup, and then I think that was, since I came out as trans, that was either the first or second night I'd actually went out presenting.
Yeah, I remember that really well.
So you were there right from the get-go, really, weren't you?
And it was weird because obviously Jamie is my first trans friend and I'd seen trans people on nights out before, but I wasn't really, I'd never been with a trans person on a night out, and it was so crazy to see how people treated you and like how nervous you were, because even I was a bit nervous. Yeah. Just because obviously being out and about as a trans person, as you know and I know, and pretty much everybody knows now, it's so like, it's such like a weird feeling because you feel so unsafe.
Yeah, no, I remember I was so nervous, and I thought because people were going to obviously gay clubs and LGBT friendly spaces, in the back of my mind I was like trying to convince myself it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But even that night wasn't fine.
No,
like, people were rude. People were.
I mean, it was a guy, wasn't it?
Yeah. I walked out of a club and he said to the bouncer in front of the whole smoking area, like, he has a dick.
Yeah.
And I literally like got this wave of confidence. I turned around, I was like, yeah, I do have a dick, and since you're so obsessed with it, do you want to see it?
Yeah.
And he shit himself.
Yeah.
He ran inside the club and everyone started laughing, and I just flipped my hair and walked away. I think that was one of the first times I realised that I could like harness my power, like my femininity, and just ride with it. And obviously I started as a very masculine looking trans woman. Just because of my bone structure. Puberty hit me hard, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Had a strong jawline and big chin, really strong brow bone, which I think has made such a huge difference. But yeah, so that was like an interesting experience that you were a part of. And then from then there was like the filler.
Yeah,
then there was a lot of filler.
So much filler.
24 mils of filler.
I feel like when you told people 24 mils of filler though, they would almost be a bit confused because it's like... To look at you, it didn't look like you had 24 mils of filler, but I feel like if you're going to do filler right, it's about blowing it all over your face and injecting it in certain areas rather than just getting like 8 mils in your cheeks. Like, it was very strategically done. The woman who did it was really, really good.
Yeah, Jen is amazing, and I think she hadn't really feminized the face with filler before, so
it was a learning experience for her as well.
Yeah, just as you were learning to do my makeup with my changing face, she was learning how to feminize my face with filler. So it was really nice to have like two professionals who I also considered as close friends helping me with the transition. And I think that really did get me through the gender dysphoria before I could afford surgery. Because in the beginning, I didn't know if I was going to ever get surgery.
It seemed so far away. Even from like a friend point of view, I was like so uncertain. We've talked about it so much, like it's this thing that's never going to happen. And
it seemed like it was going to be 5 years or something.
If it ever happened. Yeah. And I remember you saying, like at the time, which is kind of deep, but you always said to me, like, I actually don't know if I'll be alive that long. Like, I feel like I'm going to be someone that dies really young, and then all of a sudden. But when did you actually plan the surgery? Like, when did it come about?
So that was January this year.
Oh my god, that's crazy. That even that feels like so far away now.
Yeah.
To what it
and that was like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But the fact is, like, from when we met to when I got filler to when I was talking about, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to afford surgery. I don't know if I'm ever going to get there. I don't even know if I'm going to live long enough to live as a woman. And then 6 months later, surgery was booked and we were counting down the days.
Yeah. But it is nice to know that for people that where surgery isn't as accessible, obviously because you are an influencer and you have been really lucky with the surgery.
Yeah.
But for people that, you know, can't afford that or it isn't as accessible, like makeup and cheaper things like quicker fixes, 100% are more accessible to them.
The filler did make a huge difference, especially like here when it softened my brow bone and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
But now that I've had surgery and I look back at all the photos, it's really strange.
Yeah, it's strange for me.
Yeah. How was it when, because I literally got back from surgery at 10 p.m. and you were at my house at 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, I was.
So you were like the first person to see me.
Yeah, it was crazy, obviously, because like you said, you had such a strong brow bone and such like a large chin, and you were so masculine looking. And then all of a sudden, it was very strange. I remember I got out of the car with my mom, and I was like, "Oh my god, who is this person?"
Yeah.
But then equally, like you could see that what the surgeon had done, and you could see like how it was everything that you had ever imagined, and that was, and we're talking like a week later here where you're still really bruised.
Yeah, I'm still bruised into the eyes,
and and you were super swollen at the time, but like from a makeup point of view, even I was like, oh my god, like so much more feminine.
Yeah, and you were like, oh my god, lids pierced.
Yeah,
we can try different looks. Yeah. Before you would put makeup on, I'd open my eyes and it would be gone.
Literally gone. There will be nothing left.
I love that.
Yeah, I know, it's fun. I've always enjoyed doing makeup on hooded eyes anyway, but yours were like,
They were hooded and downturned, so they were like, you really couldn't lift my lids. By the end of it, we were using actual sellotape to pull my lids up.
To Jimmy rig your face like literally
Jimmy
face
rig. Oh my god, Jimmy rig. And it's even over the past couple of weeks, because we spend pretty much every day together.
Yeah.
Every day I still wake up and it's still just a bit more
changed,
settled and it looks like a bit less fake, because there was a point, I don't know if you maybe felt the same, but especially when I first got back, because I was still so swollen, I was a bit worried that the surgery was a bit too dramatic or a little. I had trust in the surgeon, but obviously I was seeing my face in the mirror,
and it's such a big psychological shift between looking one way and then waking up and looking completely different.
Exactly.
So obviously God knows what's going through your head when something like that is happening.
The psychological changes were actually a lot more difficult than
you anticipated.
Yeah, and it was actually harder than the physical changes. Like the pain and the discomfort, I feel like that was a breeze compared to the actual emotional and psychological side of walking past a mirror and looking at yourself and being like, whoa, is that me?
Yeah.
Or like when you were taking photos of me, I was literally looking at your phone like zooming in like, that's me.
Yeah.
Like, that's me. It was crazy. But as my face has settled, I couldn't be happier because I can still see me.
Yeah, 100%.
It just feels like this is a really feminized version of myself.
Yeah, I was concerned for some reason, like your humour would change, or you know what I mean, like you would become, because it's such a huge physical change that you would be a different person, but you're the same person, and I feel like your features have remained the same. They're just so much more feminine.
Yeah.
So obviously, kudos to the surgeon. Well
done.
done.
Oh my god, a magician.
Literally.
Do you feel like there's anything that's changed? Not personality-wise, but
body
maybe
language,
just,
100%.
body language.
Yeah, body language. And the way that you carry yourself, I feel like, has been... Because obviously you've been working on feminising the way you act, because obviously gender dysphoria is something that... Obviously I've not had first-hand experience with it, but from being best friends with you, I feel like... I don't know, it's something that is projected outward, but then when... your appearance changes, which is the main thing, that's where the root of gender dysphoria is. Yeah. Like,
I've kind of been able to let go of some of that, like, anxiety and tightness.
Oh yeah,
I feel like I'm a lot more
the difference in your
relaxed.
mental health has been, not even just me, to everyone, has been so like, wow, like, it's such a big difference.
Yeah, and a nice point right now, but this tuck is really fucking killing me. I'm gonna have to readjust one moment.
Adios.
Ow!
Oh dear.
Actual freak. It still like surprises me how much you know about transitioning.
Yeah.
And, like, even just experiencing it being around me so much.
100%.
Like, even in this video, because it's not like, obviously we talk about it day to day, but we're sitting down having a chat about it now. And I just feel like, as a friend, to learn so much and observe and be that well spoken about it is actually, it warms my heart a little bit, Joe.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
But no, I was saying before, like, I met you, I didn't really, and obviously being a gay person, I knew about the trans community, but like, now I've been immersed in it, and I've been able to see the struggles, and like, I feel like being a human being that isn't trans, like, I actually had no idea of the extent of how hard it was. And being near you, and even some of the Instagram comments that you get nowadays, I just can't get my head around it, like some of the negativity, but I feel like we've got a long way to go as a human race, so you can't expect too much of the human race, can you? You just have to accept that there's always going to be single-minded people out there.
Yeah, and I realise that it's not my job to fight.
Absolutely not.
Because, you know, I feel like even if we compare, when I used to get negative comments in the beginning, there would be days where I would be upset for the whole day.
Yeah,
or like
100%.
I would wake up crying or go to bed crying just because of a few Instagram comments. Yeah. Whereas now I feel like we can read them and almost just laugh it off, don't we?
Yeah, there's some things that people say and it actually fully baffles me.
We have to laugh at it.
Yeah,
we
where did
actually
you get that
have to laugh at it, because it's just like, it's so far from the truth, and it's, you understand that it's not a reflection of me.
Yeah.
It's a reflection of like a lack of education and a lack of empathy, I guess, for someone.
I feel like the one that gets me the most, the comment that you do get quite a lot, is you were such a pretty boy. You were such a handsome boy before. Why have you done this?
Or it's such a shame.
Yeah, and it's like you aren't doing. This isn't a publicity stunt. You're not doing it. Like, it would have been a lot easier to keep the hundreds of thousands of subscribers that were there before.
Yeah.
And, you know, be admired by thousands and thousands of people. That would have been the easy option.
Yeah, because I never knew that I was gonna like reach a certain standard of femininity.
Exactly, and it's like fear of the unknown. You don't know. It's not about it. It's not a vanity thing at all.
Yeah.
Like, what people don't seem to get. And to be fair, I don't think the people that are single-minded, I think it is a lot to do with their upbringing and where like it's a cultural difference and stuff. And we're both lucky to be self-aware and conscious of things like this. But the people that don't understand, I think, not to get deep, but I think that will be to do with education, etc.
Yeah, education and experience.
Yeah.
I feel like if a person who was so hateful actually got the chance to meet me and just see that I was a regular human being with thoughts, feelings and emotions rather than just an image online, they would understand. But going back to your other point, like it didn't upset me, but that's what I guess annoyed me most, is how people thought that they had ownership over the way that I looked as a guy, and it was almost offensive to them that I was no longer going to be attractive to them, because I don't exist to make them, I don't exist to be attractive for anyone.
Exactly.
It's very interesting to me that I actually, since coming out as trans, I lost 120,000 followers on Instagram. The engagement and likes went from around like 10,000 likes per post to between 2,000 and 4,000 likes, on the odd occasion maybe 5,000 likes. And a lot of people who I thought were friends or at least acquaintances were silent. And I guess because I wasn't a certain standard of beauty to them, I feel like my transition wasn't respected. And then all of a sudden, since I've had surgery and I've kind of reached a standard of beauty that people accept, or a standard of femininity physically, those people that were silent are now like, oh my god, let's go for drinks, or let's hang out, or commenting on every photo. And this is the first time since I came out.
Where were you in the last 3 years, whatever, where I really needed your help, but now I'm feeling strong and supportive again? It's just because it's a shame, but we live in a world where it's like, everything is transactional to so many people. Like, if you can't help them, or if you aren't there to boost whatever for them, whether it be following or like, you know, getting a picture with them on Instagram, if that is not going to benefit them, then they're not going to stick around.
And it's like interesting because since surgery, this is actually the first time that my follower count has went up, and my engagement on Instagram is back to like between 7,000, 8,000 and to 10,000, 12,000, 13,000, and it's like, oh wow, I'm like good enough for you now.
And it is always in the back of your mind, to be honest, because especially when your job revolves around how you look and engagement, etc., like it can be so easy to get sucked into it and think that you are worth how many likes you get on Instagram.
Absolutely.
That is just not the case. And I feel like for both of us in this year, we've realised what is important, I find.
Absolutely. I feel like we've both we use social media as a tool. Like I use it to document my transition. That's why I've never deleted any of my boy photos. I had me as a guy in makeup. I had me as a masculine looking trans woman. I had me during surgery, during recovery, post surgery. So I wanted to show the full journey in its rawness, and when I stopped concentrating on likes and I started concentrating on what I wanted to share, I was actually a lot happier. And I feel like you do the same. You use it as a tool to show off your work, your portfolio.
100%.
You don't base your talent on how many likes you get.
100%. And I feel like that's why I'm never gonna. If people want to see really heavy Instagrammy makeup from me, then rather than do it and give in and do something I don't enjoy, I would just say, hey, look, not really for me, but if you want to check out this makeup artist who, you know, does that kind of makeup, then go for it. If that's your spiel, I'm not knocking that, but, you know, I'm not going to do something I don't enjoy just for the sake of impressing people that are probably never going to meet me, because it's all online, like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So we just stopped filming while Joe did the
technical bits, really.
Yeah, the eyeliner and the eyelashes and stuff, because if my mouth is moving, not like I can make that many expressions yet because the muscles are still trying to join back to the nerves. It feels like I've had Botox actually, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
It's gone.
It's good. Stay boots a house down. But yeah, so we did eyeliner, eyelashes, and now you're just doing skin prep.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of moisture in my skin. That just doesn't sound right for some reason.
Really, no. But moisture is super important. I think to get a glowy skin, which obviously is my look, then a lot of moisture is kind of sacrosanct to me.
Yeah,
personally.
Sacrosanct. Oh,
good word, eh?
Sexy.
Yeah, no, but moisturiser, I feel like you need it in your makeup routine.
We just had a little look back at this video and I realised that I haven't mastered the art of having a nice posture yet. So I sit like this. Yeah, so just deal with that. And also the scar under my neck where they removed my Adam's apple, just here, that's still very swollen. So if it looks like I have a double chin, I do, but it's only temporary. Am I? Alright. But it's just temporary. Might not be though.
What, the scar?
No, the double chin. Imagine if it's like permanent.
You'll have to do face exercises.
No, I do that anyway. Yeah, every day I'm doing this, like, that's normal. And then I push the tongue to the roof of my mouth, like.
If I do that, I look really weird.
And hold up.
It makes me
in photos.
Like I've got something wrong with me.
I do that in photos, especially recently because it's hanging underneath.
Yeah.
You're like, you take the photo, I'm like.
It can be a really trusting thing to just let go and let someone touch your face. So I remember when I first did your makeup, you were really scared.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I hadn't really had my makeup done before then.
No.
And obviously, oh my god, remember, so you did my makeup and we took photos, and then I think a day or two later you posted it on your Instagram.
Yeah.
And then I was so surprised because all the girls on your Instagram are stunning.
Yeah.
There's every single kind of girl.
Yeah.
Like, beauty in all different forms, but all obviously biological women.
Yeah.
And I hadn't had any filler. I thought I still looked, well I did, I looked quite masculine. And then, you posted it and I remember I screenshotted it and sent it to my mum.
Yeah, that was so sweet.
And I was like, oh my god, Joe posted me along with all these other like beautiful biological women. And I was like, it was such a huge confidence boost. And I don't even think you did that intentionally.
Oh no, I just loved the makeup and loved the pictures that came out of it.
Yeah.
But then when I found out, it made you happy.
Yeah, I didn't tell you for like a few months after.
Yeah.
We somehow got on the conversation. I was like, I did screenshot that and sent it to my mom.
Yeah.
I was like, it did make me happy. That was cute. So we met when we were single. We're both still single.
Yeah. I don't mind it now though. I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable being single now than I was back then.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is something that comes with a shift in your personality and the change in yourself, because you become so reliant on one person.
Yeah.
And I feel like especially for you, this is not something that you could do relying on anybody but yourself.
Oh my god, I am so glad that I went through this surgery and this this transition, like this huge period not in a relationship.
Yeah, 100%.
Because then I literally only had myself to concentrate on, and that's it. And it seemed like the end of the world when we broke up. Obviously I was engaged, like I thought my life was sorted. It seemed like the end of the world, but really everything worked out for the best because
100%.
I only had to worry about myself. I definitely enjoy being single now, but I want to experience dating.
Yeah.
Because I haven't actually experienced...
The dynamic would be completely different now.
Yeah, I haven't experienced dating yet as a woman, or as a trans woman even, so... I mean, I've had a couple of bad experiences.
Oh god, but that's just normal.
Yeah.
I feel like you said a few times, it is almost as if you're living life as a teenage girl again.
Yeah.
So like going out, dating, like doing things that girls would, because obviously you did the whole dating thing as a guy, but now you're going back and going on a first date as a trans woman, etc.
The dynamics are so different compared to like male and male gay relationship and dating.
Yeah.
Like, just from what I've experienced kind of online and the couple of guys that I have met, like we haven't actually been on dates, but I have met up with a couple of guys, which sounds really seedy, but it wasn't on my heart.
Yeah.
But
Rest in peace.
Decapitated. But yeah, I find it really interesting in terms of dating because before I had FFS, obviously, I think from the photos you could tell that I was visibly trans. So although I was getting a lot of attention, it was from guys that were only interested in trans girls.
Like fetishizing it almost.
Definitely. So it was a fetish. People wanted to experiment, and you know, as soon as they'd kind of confirmed that I was trans, it would always be like in the first conversation, like, are you trans? Do you have a dick? Are you a T-girl? Are you a cross-dresser? Like, and as soon as they found out that, it would become instantaneously
sexual. And I don't think that you're a particularly like sexual person.
I'm really not.
So it gave me secondhand embarrassment for you to have people, because I know that you're not like that as a person.
No,
and I think it really opened my eyes so much about what trans people have to go through in like
how you become just a sex doll.
Yeah,
or like a
absolutely.
sexual object.
Yeah.
And you know, like it makes me cringe, the things that people will just pop up and say, or like just unasked for dick pics and stuff like that, like, and then they'll say like, do you want to go on a date? They'll send me a dick pic and then say, do you want to go on a date?
A date,
like,
yeah.
What do you mean? Like, where's the respect? And then so it kind of went from that extreme where I was completely sexualized and a lot of guys were interested, and now obviously in my recent pictures I don't really think that it's like, I don't think that I'm clockable. I don't think you can see that I'm trans. So now the guys that I'm matching with obviously just assume that I'm a biological woman. They don't really see any masculine traits. So now it's kind of the opposite. I'm still getting a lot of attention, but now when I have to tell them I'm trans, which I do in the first conversation, it's more of an issue.
Yeah.
Like it's an unmatch, it's a block, or it's usually without an explanation or without giving me a platform to be like, by the way. So it's been really weird to have like
the shift in
like the
dynamic.
super I want you this that sexual to like, that's not my thing. It's like it's a real good job that I did this transition and became me for me and not for
absolutely.
Because I think if I did it for the attention of guys or the acceptance of other people, I'll be really disappointed right now. But actually I'm excited because I feel like it's almost interesting to kind of figure out what guys are like. And I feel like, you know, soon I am going to start going on dates and just see how it is. You know, I've only been out in public during the day twice like this.
And it's such an adjustment because even before when we were in a cafe, you were so scared.
I know.
We were just getting brunch.
I literally couldn't eat and I was so hungry, but I couldn't eat and I was like, Joe, do I look okay? Like,
and to me, from an outsider's point of view, obviously I just see Jamie like a woman, so I wasn't really like, I got the fear and the embarrassment, etc., but I also was like,
you're just
you look beautiful, like
no one is even looking.
No one
at
was
you.
noticing, but obviously after
internally, it's like it's a big thing, and I'm constantly checking my phone, like mirror and stuff, and I don't know. It's like I almost assume that people are gonna be negative or hateful, and I think that's just due to like bad experiences or like things that have been said online or experiences from before kind of do stay with you.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot though to put you trust in the human race again, really, because obviously there's no denying that you can be at risk at times, and
absolutely.
And then it's not good. That isn't going to get out of your head overnight. But I feel like you will reach a point where you just the risk will be worth it. If that makes sense, like.
You almost have to just push yourself out of your comfort zone. I feel like I did that idea. It would have been a lot easier for me to chuck a beanie on, chuck on some joggers, a hoodie, and we would have just went for brunch. I wouldn't have thought twice about it. Instead, you were hungry. I had about 15 minutes to get ready. I barely put any makeup on. I literally had foundation on and a lip, and that's it. I put my wig on, and then I was just like, you know what? I'll force myself
out
to
the
do
door.
it. And yes, I could barely eat. You finished off my brunch for me.
I had no problem with that.
And then we walked around, and then by the end of it, I was just like, no one is even looking.
Yeah,
no
absolutely
one is even
not.
caring. And like that kind of relief, I feel like the more I do it, the more it will just not even cross my mind.
Definitely.
But it is such a huge adjustment, because I feel like for a lot of trans women, it's maybe more of a slower process. Like, they will start wearing makeup, they will start growing their hair, they will start, like, they'll tiptoe into the transition. I feel like I went from full male presenting, would never in a million years be like gendered as she, to fully presenting female.
Yeah.
Like, it was literally from black to white. It was a complete contrast.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been strange, but like when I'm out and about, like the last 2 times, then I've held a door open for a guy and he's like, thanks sweetheart.
Yeah.
Or when I got in an Uber and he's like, hello love. And it's just like, it's such tiny things, but it just like, it's just like, oh, hi. Hi. You know what I mean? Or I'm like, hi.
Soft voice.
And then anything bad happens, hey.
Rip the wig off.
Rip the wig off. Everything's just kind of floating now. It's peeling back those layers of masculinity and just letting me shine through. Hell yeah. You squad. Okay, so seeming as though you've been here for the last year, throughout this transition, throughout the ups and downs, you've seen me at my absolute worst.
Oh god.
You've seen me on the kitchen floor, Trisha Paytas style, breaking down. That was horrendous. I guess what would you say to someone who has a friend or a best friend who is going through a transition? Do you have any advice? Or
I've never really
really
thought about that before.
Yeah.
I would say the number one thing was probably be patient, and then unless you are actually transitioning yourself, which obviously I am not, then don't try to look into it too much. Like, it's so easy to try and empathise, but in actual fact, like, I am never gonna feel how you feel in that respect, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So the most I could do at that point was just listen to you and kind of ride it out, to be honest, because if you're going through such a monumental thing, then I would be kind of weirded out if you didn't have low moments, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So just let someone know that you're there, and then, there's been times when I have been really worried, but I would never say it out loud to you because I wouldn't want you to get worried, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
it heightens the worry, doesn't it?
Yeah, just remaining as positive as possible.
I feel like, obviously, I mean, I've been strong, I've been weak. Overall, I did get through it. But I feel like you've been a very strong person through it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because what I've realised in retrospect is that obviously when you're going through a transition, it's very internalized and it's the main focus. Well, at least it was the main focus of my life for me, but I didn't realize until after, when I looked back, that it actually affected everyone around me.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like now that I've had a minute to think about it, I think that the number one thing, if someone was transitioning around me, I could do was just to remain positive, because the last thing you would need going into something so scary, because obviously this is irreversible, this is your life now, the last thing that someone would need is negativity, because that is just what good can that do? You would just feel horrendous.
I feel like if there was a point where you got sick of me, or you were just like, oh, can you just shut up about your transition? I don't know what I would do. Yeah. Like, even if it's annoying to hear it, just ride it out if you actually care for someone.
Yeah.
And I think if you're not capable of being there for someone, then just don't pretend you are.
Yeah.
Leave it to someone
because it's
else.
so much more devastating to think that someone has been with you the entire journey,
and then
to find out and then to find out last minute or find out midway along that you're annoying them, or they can't be bothered talking to you, because it's your friend at the end of the day, and like a transition is a process. And
that is a big thing that I've learned, is it's such a slow process. And I recognise I'm actually very privileged.
Yeah.
I am very privileged, and I can say that if I wasn't the person I am on social media, if I hadn't done this online for 10 years, and you know, I did get a lot of treatments for free, I did get filler for free, I did get a lot of my feminine wardrobe for free. Well, I say for free, it's in return for some kind of promotion, so it's a mutual exchange, but I also earned a lot of money from the odd modeling jobs and just social media promo. So if I didn't have that, it's been a 3-year period since I came out as trans. I don't know how long it would have taken. You know? So I feel like that was such a long process for me. But looking back, it actually wasn't. It was during the time, but looking back, I'm like 3 years of my life blew. I can now live the majority of my life how I feel. Which is such a positive. I will have lived, by the time I pass, hopefully, I mean touch wood, I want to live a very long life. For the first time.
Oh, you mean die? I was like, what did you mean?
Oh, pass, did you mean like pass as female? No,
I was like,
You're like, No, like, I want to live a long life now. And
which is something that I never thought I'd hear you say. Which is
I always said I'm gonna die young.
And to me, because we've both got such a satirical sense of humour, I kind of shrugged it off. But in the back of my mind, it did panic me that you were like, I think I'm gonna die at 30. But now, like,
before 30.
But now you've always had a lot to live for. But now that you're able to now it's reciprocated on the outside. I feel like it's just much more realistic, really.
Yeah, and I do want to live a very long life, and the fact that I can sit here and say that even though it was 3 years of my life, I'm actually going to spend the majority of my life in the right body. It feels really good and positive, and you know what, transitioning and kind of, I wouldn't say completing a transition because I feel like it's always going to be...
you've got a long way to go.
It's always going to be like me growing and understanding, and I feel like that's the same for everyone, whether you're trans or not, you know. But the fact that I can do that is... Wait, I just lost my train of thought because my wig is really tight. The brain is bulging. I've got it back. I've got it back. So yeah, the fact that I will have, I love doing these hands. Okay, let's go on. Dry that face. The fact that I could live a potentially long life and live most of my life in the right body. It means that even though I transitioned at 24, which is, it's quite late, but it's obviously early in comparison to other people.
By some people's standards.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't actually have transitioned younger or changed anything about it now. Because before, when I first started transitioning, I couldn't find any positives about being trans. I hated the fact that I was transgender, and I would just wish
that you were a natural born.
I wish that I'd been born female. I wished so hard from being 3 years old. But now that I've kind of went through the process, and as cheesy as it sounds, seen the light at the end of the tunnel, and really like harness this this power, I wouldn't change a thing, because I feel like it's really interesting to be able to have the perspective on life that I do.
There's something so empowering about being transgender. Obviously, again, I can't relate like from a personal point of view, but from meeting trans people, like, you have lived 2 lives, you have conquered 2 things, and you have overcome something that probably 1% of the world would not even be able to do. Not that they are doing, but 1% of the world wouldn't be physically able to do for the strength of it, and the fact that you are doing it is just so empowering. I can't even believe it.
Oh, thank you.
I can't even get out of bed in the mornings.
It is very strange, because you get to experience life through, I wouldn't say the eyes, because I've always felt the same. One, me being male was a character, me being female is how I've always felt, but to experience a life driven by testosterone, mentally and physically, and to experience a life driven by estrogen, mentally and physically, I can totally understand why male and female mindsets are so different.
Yeah.
And to be treated as a man and to be treated as a woman, even though being treated as a woman is very new for me, there are so many differences. And I think to have this like dual perspective on life and to have experienced so much, I actually wouldn't change being transgender for the world. And even if now someone came to me and said that I could be reborn as a baby in a feminine body and just like in a female cisgendered body and live life like that, I would absolutely say no. I genuinely would, to the soul, because I would not be me without this.
Yeah, definitely not.
Without all these experiences, you know. And for once in my life, I can say that like there's so many positives to being transgender, and it's more so society's perception that's negative.
Yeah.
And I think that influenced me a lot. But becoming comfortable in my own skin has taught me that it's actually a beautiful thing, and I'm proud and I'm happy, and yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. Okay, so last step.
Collarbones, obviously.
Collarbones. Dewy, shiny, dolly.
This is so important, I feel. For
yeah, especially if the face is so glowy. It
yeah,
just makes it cohesive, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Oh, are we finished?
Yeah, I think so.
We're actually finished. So that's a makeup look finished. Thank you, Joe.
It's alright.
I was touching that.
Thank you.
Oh, my little love. I'm so glad we got to sit down and do this video.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you made it to the end, thanks for watching. This was a long one.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks for being a part of this whole journey and the final reveal.
Yeah, definitely. I've loved watching it take place.
I still can't smile properly yet because of the muscles on my face, but this is a genuine smile. So yeah, don't forget to give Joe a follow on Instagram. Have a look at his work. And I'm sure you'll be in another video.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do one soon.
Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.